goes. We will go on to Bo Nix, who was the 12th pick by the Denver Broncos, beating the Colts 34-30. He was 15 for 21 on the day, 125 yards and a touchdown, 17 rushing yards for the young QB. Denver seriously wanting this next quarterback, Bo Nix, to be the answer. Just sort of hoping that Sean Payton can really get to grips with a young guy here at the position and can really mold him and shape him into an amazing QB like he did with Drew Brees. And there's been lots of similarities between Bo Nix and Drew Brees. What was your first impression of him for the Denver Broncos?
Yeah, he was probably the most productive quarterback once he got on the field this weekend. And I think he was very efficient and he earned a lot of praise from his coach. After the game. So, this is a real opportunity for the Broncos, and I really hope that they, don't get blurred vision by potentially starting Jarrett Stidham over Nix, because he probably is. I think Andrew and Adam, obviously follow college football a lot more than us, and have said that Nix, I think, is one of the probably more ready quarterbacks at the moment. May not, obviously necessarily have the ceiling of the others, but I think it's a real opportunity for the player to grasp. I just hope that the Broncos team, the weapons around him, can really just hold up and support the quarterback. I think that's the pressure on. Obviously, we've talked about the Bears and their situations. My Jets team have been terrible at helping quarterbacks develop, and I just worry that potentially the Broncos may slip into that category after a difficult couple of years. But from what we saw of Bo Nix, I think Broncos fans will be fairly happy of what they saw. I think he orchestrated 4 scoring drives. So I think a really good start and something for the young QB to build on.
It's so interesting you say about the offense, because I've got one of his downsides might be that this offense is just not good enough. The surrounding cast is just not good enough for him. I felt like there was a few plays that it looked like that. But I was quite impressed. I mean, he threw a few risky throws, I thought, but really threaded the needle really well. And showed off his arm strength. He showed elements of rookies. He showed rookie elements like that, which he's going to. I don't think that's not in a negative sense. I think that they are all going to show rookie elements at times, and it is better to really show these rookie elements in these style of games for them to then develop even more and to move on into the future and into the rest of the NFL season. Better to iron out the creases now than week 10. If they can really get that started on the front foot. Peyton's already seen him obviously in training. Now he's seen him in a live game situation for the Broncos. Obviously, he saw him in live game situations in college. And now they can really start to hone in on these skills. He looked really comfortable running as well. I thought it would be very interesting to see him in a meaningful game, because I paint it as threw some risky throws, but threaded the needle and looked like he was very direct with the target and looked really precise, and his precision looked pretty good. In meaningful games, I think the coverage may be tighter. There'll be more pressure in his face. I don't know whether his decision-making will be as equal. It won't be as equal as it is to now. He's got a little bit more time, whether it be a second or 2 seconds to 4 seconds longer in the situations that he has in preseason in comparison to what will happen in a meaningful game. You saying about his development, I mean, isn't this why Sean Payton has been brought in? Is because they know that he can develop a quarterback?
I absolutely agree. I think Sean Payton will manage this very wisely, and I can see him, keeping the Knicks sort of hype train going, because I think for him to be put in these situations straight away, these tough decisions, particularly for a team that has been under the spotlight a lot for its decision making in recent years. I can see Bo Nix being backed by, obviously already by his coach and his teams as well. So really want to see Bo Nix start the season ahead of Stidham and Zach Wilson because they've obviously invested a lot into this pick. I think it took quite a few people by surprise how high Nix was taken, but the Broncos have been after a capable quarterback, and I think what we saw, in the brief, all these quarterbacks, these are only brief snippets of what could become this season. But I think it did show that he has, a strong grasp on the Peyton offense in Denver, and I don't see any reason why he shouldn't start their season opener in early September.
I agree. I would really like to see him start. Definitely over Zach Wilson, Jarrett Stidham. I think Stidham's capable. I think now's the high. I think we've got to see him in his next two games in the preseason. Like I said, I think there's more creases to iron out, but I'm really excited to see him moving forward. A lot more excited than I thought I was going to be, if that makes sense. I really didn't think Bo would necessarily have a wow factor to him, but I was pleasantly surprised at how capable he was when I've watched the highlights and the throws that he was making.